Chris Farley, my favorite comedian of all time. No one makes me laugh. I will argue to anybody. People go, oh, Belushi, this. I don't think you put Farley in the same room as any of these guys. There's nobody that makes me laugh as hard as possible with almost everything he does. And the
So
best
funny.
fucking thing, and nobody probably knows this, except if you're in the industry, is you created motivational speaker Matt Foley.
Well, actually, a lot of people know it, but thank you.
Well, no, I think a lot of people in the industry know it.
Yeah,
but I don't know
it's
if everybody listens to my podcast.
It's been yammered about a lot, and I
Okay.
Look, the truth is, I am really proud of it because I did write it pretty much exactly the way he performed it, and I wrote it alone in my apartment in Chicago. And Chris had done a version of the character in an improv, like the night before, but none of the story of the script or nothing. He was
a lot of doobie rolling.
None of that shit was in there. You know, I'd seen a version of the character, and it's such a performance heavy thing. So I'll share credit on inventing the thing because he did a version of that character, and that inspired my brain.
So your brain wrote, you create the
story of it, the scenario. It was all me.
Lives in a van down by the river.
But this guy, I mean, it was the greatest thing I ever was a part of. I think just pure, simple one thing. My daughter once asked me, "What's the best thing you ever did?" And I said, writing that scene and doing it 8 times a week at Second City. Because like you, I feel like there was nothing greater than seeing Chris be funny and act. And I was on stage with him because I played the dad in the scene. And so to have him do that right in front of you every night, and by the way, different every night, a little different every night, every single night, he would not quit until he made you laugh, until he made everyone on stage laugh and the audience came along. And boy, I'll never forget it. It was the greatest thing. And when it was happening, you're like, this is the greatest thing I'll ever do.
Yeah. Even, I'm glad you said that because I think it's like, if I'm in a bad mood, I know that I put that Best of SNL Chris Farley on and I watch the motivational speaker. And I memorized that whole thing. I was like, I am a skinny Farley. I got a chance to I was good friends with Kevin and Johnny. I got to hang out with Chris. I got to really, and I was just, when he passed, I was just, as were many, but.
I write about him a lot in my memoir, which is coming out in about a year and a half. And I'm sorry.
Will you come back right before it comes out?
Sure.
Yes. Got him on
say
film.
Yes to that. Yeah. I write about him a lot.
What is it you write? What is it that is it emotional when you write it?
Well, some of it is. I don't know. Some of it's kind of sad. And I don't know how you felt about it, but you say you knew him or you got to be with him a bit.
Well, I mean, I got to hang out with him a couple times with, those guys and spend some time, but it was always funny and laughing and drinking. It wasn't, I know that the demons and I know from his brothers and I know,
I think the hardest part for me was my father was an alcoholic, and I learned a lot about alcoholism when I was young because my mom took me to Al-Anon, which is a great thing to attend if you have an alcoholic in your family. Family members of people with alcoholism can meet and talk about the things they're going through. And the hardest part was how inevitable it all felt. Everything in Chris's story, the way it played out.